Hi, I'm Royce Morales. I'm a spiritual teacher, transformational facilitator, radio show host, and I developed Perfect Life Awakening, which is an inner delving course that helps you to get in touch with who you really are so that you can live your life from an authentic place. Um, Through the years of teaching, and it has been quite a while, I've come up with 9 what I think are the most important spiritual lessons that we're here to learn, or life lessons, if you don't want to call them spiritual, things that we as human beings have chosen to learn in these current incarnations. And I'm going to talk to you about them. I've left off some of the ones that I think are more kind of spiritual cliches, like just be positive and live for the moment and all of those things that a lot of spiritual teachers talk about, because I find that they're pretty much impossible to do unless you really do some deep digging that allows you to be authentically positive and authentically living in the moment. So let me just jump right in and talk about these 9 key life lessons. And I'm going to read them because I don't remember each one individually. Okay. And, admittedly, I learn more each day. I'm on a constant quest. My entire life has been about discovering some spiritual truths. And I'm just trying to help myself and help you to navigate life in a more higher consciousness way. Okay, so number 1, we all have very specific lessons that we're here to learn in these earth bodies. And if there is a particular lesson that you are here to learn, it's going to keep showing up in bigger and bigger and bigger ways until you get it. I think that there are some specific ones that kind of universally we're here to learn, but the ones that are specific for you are the big ones. Whatever it is, maybe it's you're here to learn about trusting yourself, or maybe you're here to learn about anger, or maybe you're here to learn about doing your particular purpose. Whatever it is, that's the one or ones that keep getting bigger and bigger until you learn them. Patterns. Okay. And by the way, those patterns don't have to keep repeating if you do learn the lessons behind them. And that's one of the things that I talk about in my course, that we can learn those lessons in a more gentle, loving way. But if we don't learn them, they're just going to get more and more extreme. The second life lesson is that your life is never going to be good enough until you really believe that you are good enough. Accepting yourself, not accepting yourself like, oh yeah, well, that's just the way it is. I'm always going to be this way. Not from a resigned place, but from not resisting who you are, because what you resist persists. So you've got to reach the point where it's kind of a duality. It's kind of like, I accept the way I am, and I know that I can transform it. Not from I've got to change, but from, yeah, I can do this. I hope that makes sense. The third one is that when someone or something pisses you off or pushes your button, they're showing you a denied aspect of yourself. This is something I talk about over and over and over in my Perfect Life Awakening courses. Nobody ever likes to hear it. So whatever it is that drives you crazy is showing you something about yourself that you have pushed down, that you're in denial of. It's a universal rule that is unbreakable. So what is it that's pissing you off? That, again, is something about yourself, something you need to address, something that you've pushed down. So what is it? And the bigger the mirror, the bigger the lesson behind it. So I know that the last few years have been tremendous mirrors for people, and nobody ever wants to hear about it. But politically, socially, environmentally, all of those things are showing us something that we need to get in touch with about ourselves. There's ways that we do this in my course, and it's invaluable in terms of the evolution that happens from just admitting those things. Yeah. It's amazing. The next one is, let's see, letting go of the goal to be happy and accepting and being grateful for whatever condition your life is in right now. And doing that is the key to happiness. Again, it sounds kind of like, huh? You have to let go of the need to be happy, huh? But that's a universal law. Again, that the more you struggle to attain something, the more it's going to elude you. I find that sometimes happiness just shows up when you're not trying for it. I don't know if you've had that experience or not, but it's kind of like, I'm going to go to Disneyland to be happy, and you have a horrible day, versus, oh, I'm going to go to Disneyland and see what happens. Suddenly you're feeling joyful and happy, and it just sort of happens automatically. The same thing with life. The more we struggle to be happy, and this is what happiness is going to look like when I get there, the more it kind of takes a side trip for you. This is, let's see, asking questions of your wise higher consciousness and listening to what you know intuitively is going to feed your soul is a huge lesson for all of us. We have not been taught how to listen to our intuitive, heartfelt knowingness. And it's something I talk a lot about in my courses, that if we just listen to what our higher consciousness is telling us, it's not going to mislead you. It's going to take you down some interesting paths, some very interesting paths, but it's not going to mislead you. It's always right. Sometimes it's going to take you down a path that is your best teacher. Something is going to awaken in you, or something is going to get cleaned up when you go down that path. I know that I can't even tell you how many times my higher consciousness has led me in some very interesting directions. But I look back on that and I realize, oh my gosh, that was the best teacher I ever had. That allowed me to clean up 500 years of karma or whatever it is. So listen to your higher consciousness. It's the part of you that is sometimes quietly whispering, sometimes forcing you to go a certain direction that you don't want to go in, or saying, gosh, go talk to that person, or whatever it is. It's kind of a strong pull, shall I say, or just a knowingness. I need to do this and I don't know why. Usually there's no logic behind it. There's just kind of a push there. I just need to do this. I talk about that a lot in my radio show. In fact, that's the theme of my show, Listening to Our Intuition. The title of it is Listen Up. So that's definitely my theme. And it's been an interesting journey in terms of learning to listen to my own intuition. It's not always been easy. So what I do find about that is that when your higher consciousness finally reaches you and you finally recognize that, oh, that's my intuition talking, I'm not going to listen to it. When you do that, your higher consciousness gets a little pissed off. It's like, I spent all these years trying to get you to listen and then you don't listen. So it's really important to listen. The next spiritual life truth is that being fully present is so important. I don't think there's anything that you're going to look back on and have more regrets about. And that is, I really wasn't present in my life, or I wasn't present for myself, or I wasn't present for that person in my life. That's the biggest gift that you can give yourself and others, just being fully present, not letting anything get in the way. I know that there were times years ago that I went on these amazing vacations. We went to Europe and all these places, and I was so scared that I didn't let myself fully experience each moment. And now I look back on them and it's like, was I really there? So just think about that in terms of the bigger picture of your life, and how sad that will be when you look back on your life and you realize, oh my God, I really wasn't present at all, or I wasn't present with that important person. So that's the gift. The next one is that your purpose, your true capital P purpose, and I've done several videos on this, your capital P purpose is to give and receive unconditional love. in the form that it is meant to take for you. So it doesn't have to be saving the whales or finding the cure for cancer. It can be very subtle, but whatever it is, it needs to come from a pure sense of unconditional love for yourself and others. And I always emphasize the fact that it's not just about giving unconditional love, it's about allowing yourself to receive it as well. That's your purpose, being authentically loving in some way and manifesting that and expressing that in some way that is very specific to what you are supposed to do here. And again, looking back on that in your life, you'll know that you succeeded when you know that, wow, I really did it this time. I really came from unconditional love and I expressed that in some way. And by the way, it doesn't necessarily have to be your job or your career. It could just be, being a loving person when you're on the bus and talking to people or whatever it is, whatever form it takes. Again, it's going to be looking back and going, yeah, I did it. The next life lesson is that the universe is a yes machine. I came up with that title because it really accurately expresses the fact that whatever we give out, the universe says yes. So if my message to the universe is, I don't deserve, the universe says, okay, yes, and it withholds. So what is the universe saying yes to in your life? So start to see what the message is that you're sending out, the real message underneath what you think you're sending out, the real message underneath. So that's what the universe is saying yes to. Okay, the last one is that this is the speed course in how to evolve. I kind of shifted the order here, so I'm looking in my notes here. So the speed course on how to evolve, recognize that if you're not sitting in love, if you're not sitting in full acceptance and full unconditional love, you are sitting in fear. What is the fear about? The fear is, on one level, fear of losing love, but the deeper fear is fear of having love. There's a part of us, part of you, a part of me that says, I don't deserve love. So whenever I experience love, whatever that means, maybe somebody accepts me and loves me and wants to be with me, or maybe my boss wants to give me a raise, or maybe I just experienced a wonderful day. All of those things symbolize allowing myself to receive love. And when I'm not receiving love, when I'm not allowing myself to have and receive love in some way, there's a part of me that doesn't feel deserving. And whenever I experience more love, that part of me that says you don't deserve gets triggered. And it tries to sabotage, it tries to push away love because I don't deserve it. So if I'm not receiving love, if I'm not receiving whatever it is that I'm wanting in my life, it's because part of me says I don't deserve. So all emotions that are not love are fear-based. And every time I experience a quote negative emotion, what's really going on is fear was triggered. And it looks like fear of losing love, but it's always fear of having love. There's a video that I did where I talk in detail about that. So check it out if you want more information. So those are my top life lessons. I hope that they make sense and there's meaningfulness for you behind those lessons. It's lessons that I've learned over and over and over again. It's not something that you can learn in 1 minute or in 10 minutes or in a lifetime sometimes, but have them in the back of your mind and start on your own journey to learn your particular life lessons. Your life will never be the same. If you need some help with any of these, I am available. I have an e-course, check it out. It's on my website, Perfect Life Awakening or roycemorales.com. And if you want to do some individual work with me, that would be great. We get some big shovels out and dig up some of the roots of the issues that keep repeating in your life, the buttons, the mirrors, all those things that go on. And thank you so much for listening. Hit like and subscribe, and you'll be notified as to all of the videos that I've been doing. And thank you again, RoyceMorales.com. I'll see you next time.